Now we're going to talk about the new character that's going to be coming out. ARMS. Which ARMS character? We have no clue. And we legit have like no clue what we're going to get. Personally, I know a lot of people aren't too excited for this character, but I'm very interested. For a lot of reasons. First thing that we'll talk about is the fact that if we do get Springman, that opens a huge can of worms. And I don't think like people really give enough credit to that at all. Because like let's talk about a couple of things that we do know. So, this was released on the Japanese Twitter. You have like these 3 banners in the background. So one, actually I think this was photoshopped. Just looking at that little gap there, I think this is a Photoshop. Okay, this is probably fake. But if this was real, this is Springman's. This is Max Brack's background. And then this is not Springatron. Despite what it looks like, that's not it. Like, I'll show you real quick in the game. So, go down here. So, see, that's Springman. There's Ribbon Girl. Ninj Ara. So let's get back to the characters in question. So you see, like that black and gold one, that's Max Brass. However, everyone says like that last one is Springatron, but if you look at his, it's not exactly the same colors. It's like got like more of a gray to it, whereas like that one's just like pure black and red. Or it's actually like more red on red, if anything. So like that's the reason why like that one doesn't really line up. Which yeah, that one kind of showed off. But the biggest thing about if we get Springman is you have to remember that Springman is also an assist trophy inside the game. So if we look at Smash Wiki and we really look at Smash Ultimate, let's go to the items real quick. So I think there's a way that we can see all the assist trophies. There we go. So, you'd have Akira, Alucard would be on the table, my boy Isaac would be on the table, Bomberman would be back on the table, Dr. Drill, if you ever wanted that, Gray Fox would never be it, Guile could be on the table then, Hammer Bros could be on the table. It's just like, there's a lot of exciting things to think about of what would happen if Springman does end up becoming a character that's playable. Because like, I think they show him off a little bit. So it's like we kind of at least know what these characters would look like. And at least by the amount that he can go, that can give us like a pretty good idea on like what the range they might give these characters to. So that's one cool thing to think about. Like, yeah, here's like kind of like his max range and all that. So, it's basically like a quarter FD from like his normal punches and all that. Oh yeah, that would actually put Shovel Knight back on the table too. So that'd be exciting. Yeah, Waluigi too. Waluigi would be a big one. And like, so while Springman as a character may not be the most exciting thing in the world, the possibilities about him being in actually are. And I think like people really need to consider that. I don't know if it's sick for people watching the recording. Okay, there we go. Yeah, sorry for the recording. It's just the stream had to reconnect. But yeah, the possibilities of what can come out of having assist trophies is just like a lot. Like even Zero would have the chance to be a playable character too. And that would excite a lot of people for that. So like that's why I think like having Springman be the playable rep is not really a bad thing if that happens, because there's just a lot of cool things you can do with it. And the big question that like we all have, because like the way they announced it, is who is going to be the rep? Like obviously, you know, most characters only have one, but like with Hero, we had multiple characters. However, that's not going to really work in like a couple of... That's not going to work for like a couple of reasons. So let me show you... I'll show you like the different characters that we have. So as we got Springman. So Springman and Ribbon Girl, they're about like the same size and everything. So these are two characters that you can model swap very easily. Ninj Ara is about the same size as well. Min Min's about the same size. Twin Tool's about the same size, but I think she's taller. Bite and Bark are, but you can't have Bite without Bark, so I don't think they'd use him. Kid Cobra's a bit weird, so I don't know if they could use him. Helix you technically could, but like he's such a weird body type that I don't think you could use him properly. And then obviously Springatron you could use. You could use Lollipop. You could also use Missango. Dr. Coil you cannot use if you want to, like, if you want her to be faithful to her character at all. Truth be told, like, even if you did model swaps, each character could not be faithful to themselves. Oh, that's what that is? Isn't there... I think, maybe I have to go to local. Oh, that's what they mean by local. God, there's the... Okay, I think arms test is like the best thing we can do. So let's just start up with Springman real quick. This is not what I was expecting. Because I know there was like a mode where you could just go in and you could just like... kind of practice it. So obviously, one thing that you have is you have all the different arms that you can choose from. So like that's definitely a mechanic that should probably come into play at a certain point. Let's quit out of this. Yeah, I honestly wonder how many people actually signed up for the actual thing that happened. What was it? Guys, like I hate that like they actually just like force you into like a training thing like this. Oh, okay, cool. That's how I do this. So unlimited time. So like, okay, so I can actually show off all the characters this way. So we'll start off with Springman, and then we'll just pick Ribbon Girl. So that way you can at least see like the size comparison between the two. And you can see what they look like. So like in this game, there's not really too much you can choose from for a moveset. So we'll start off with two different arms. So it's like your normal arm, like the toaster is a very normal punch. So as you can see, like because she's just squatting down a little bit more, Springman and Ribbon Girl are basically the same size. But like literally their attacks are determined by their arms. Arm attacks do not change at all between character to character. So basically you can just like either fire with it. And then you also have like this thing where you can charge up your arms, and then that gives them a special ability. So in this case, it explodes on her if I do this. So like there, you saw like the fire damage that she had. With this wind one, it does like a little tornado and it sends her flying. So there might be a way that they might put these charged attacks in there. So like whether they use like a limit break move or it's like after you hold shield a little bit. Because I think that's another one too. Like let me hold shield. Yeah, so after you hold shield, the arms charge up. So arms characters holding shield actually might be a strategy that they might want to be using quite a lot. So I think that's something they could do. And I think realistically, they'll probably have a special either tied to specific arms, or they'll have a special that changes their arms. Like let's say you hit down B to like switch like to double boomerang, double toaster, double like tri-shot or something like that. So that could definitely make it pretty interesting. The other thing too is like with the boomerang, they would probably make this move function like an actual boomerang, where like it goes like their arm stretches out, but then like it can bring it back too. Whereas like this one, I think would always just function like a regular thing. Of course, you also have the notorious grabs, which people are like, this is going to be an absurd tether, which it really will be. So I'm definitely not looking forward to fighting that. The other thing too is like I think like people's mobility are going to be stopped by punching. Like I think it's just they do a move. Because like here is I can move faster when I only shoot out one, but if I shoot out both of my arms, then I move a lot slower. And I don't know if they can make that mechanic something part of Smash. It'd be very interesting if they do. And we'll try shot now. I wouldn't bet it past them. So now if you do try shot, think of this kind of like throwing a gun. And all characters and arms do not have a double jump except for like Ribbon Girl and then characters that have a float. So it's like here, I think this is like another wind effect one. And then also, people think this will be their final Smash, but I don't think it will be. God, how do I activate? Okay, that's what it is. So basically, this is like a little rush attack that they have. Every character has that when they build up their meter. So it's like, I saw like a Game Explain video where they're like, hey, this will probably work like, it'll probably work like the way that like Cloud's Limit Break works. And I think that's a good way to implement it. So that way it's not going to be like anything too absurd. And, you know, it's just like, hey, you're going to do a lot of damage. It'll probably be like on the same level as Limit Break. And for the most part, I think these characters are going to be very slow. I don't really see these characters like really being all too fast. So I think that's kind of a good way to compensate it. I think this will basically be like their projectile if they do have something like that. And just finish them off. That's the other thing too. When they jump and they land, they also charge up their arms too. So they'll have a lot of ways to like charge up their special moves. So remember, shielding, jumping and landing, and like dodging will probably all give them different forms of charging up their specials. So realistically, because of the way he announced these characters, I do assume that we're going to be able to... I think that that's going to be the way that they're going to be doing this. Like, I think it's going to be one character with multiple skins. Unless they really wanted to just go with, like, the most popular character. But let me show you some other differences. So these are the poppers. This move's weird. It basically just, like, shows off, like, a double thing. So they'll probably get multi-hit attacks based off of moves like this. So let me show you. If I throw out both arms, I can't move. If I throw out one arm, I can move. But both arms, I can't move until they get back. So I'm not sure if that's going to be a mechanic that they'll have. So let's see. If I jump and I land, that's the powered up version of them. Dash, charge, powered up version of that. And then Ribbon Girl's special ability is that she has multiple jumps. So like she has 3 jumps. So it's like if they wanted to get Ribbon Girl specifically, that would be something for her. And that's something that Springman doesn't have, but obviously every character is going to have at least a double jump. But if they did like a Ribbon Girl character, she would have that. So let's change fighters real quick. Next up, Ninj Ara. I don't know how popular this character was. Like he's a gimmick in this game. Basically, his gimmick is that he teleports. So it's like if I hold shield and I dash. Or actually, was it just in air? Yeah. So in the air, he can do that. And he also could like do like a really quick dash out of like things. But that's about it. So you could make your like movement a little bit ambiguous, but if you just waited, then you would catch him. And that was kind of it. Because I like the Chakras, so this is basically another form of the boomerang. So I think you're going to see a boomerang attack, the regular toasters, and then you'll probably see somebody with the large one too. So if we do end up getting somebody like Max Brass, I think he might have one of those. We'll have to see. Master Mummy. I don't think they would ever put this character in for one specific reason. This character heals when he shields. Yeah, that'd be a dumb mechanic to have. I'll show that off. So yeah, the Megatons. So when you do that, like as you see, he's just healing like that. So I don't think this character, because of that reason, I think too many people would complain about that, even though he's not the best character in the world, but it'd be annoying. This was always the, like, I didn't use this specific weapon on his right hand, but the character I used something very similar to it, and it was a nice one. That's the other thing too, is you can deactivate people's arms, so I don't know if they're going to try to include that mechanic somehow. And if they did have this arm in particular as a particular arm you could use, this would literally beat out every single attack and just win. Like, this should beat out like a charge shot. It should beat out like any smash attacks. This should beat out everything. But it will be a very slow moving attack if they give them the megatons. Roasters. It'll be a great, like, cute little move, but that's really going to be about it. And that's kind of like the main reason why, like, I don't think they're going to be doing this. Min Min, if they just put her as the character, I think that'd be a really good choice, just because she has a really, like, everyone loves her as a character, and she also has like a really cool little gimmick. So of course she does have the dragons. So the way the dragons work is these are projectiles, so it just kind of fires. And that's really it. And then you have this, which is like another megaton, which I think is just like a stun one. Yeah. So it's just like it's a really nice combination. But with her, when she dashes, when she dashes out of shield, when she backdashes, she deflects projectiles. So that little kick that she does, that deflects projectiles. This protects projectiles. So when she air dashes, that deflects a projectile, and when she backdashes, that deflects projectiles. So that means, like, if she rolled back, she should be able to deflect projectiles, and then if she air dodged, she would be deflecting projectiles too. And that would be like her main gimmick if she was the only character in this game. But as you can see, like, body size wise, she's basically the same size as Ribbon Girl and Spring Band. So as a model swap character, not too hard to do. Yeah, no, that's for sure. Now, Meccanica was my main in this game. I love playing her, but I don't think she's, like, even remotely close to being the most popular character in this game. So I don't think you'll see her. However, as a character, she would offer a lot of unique things. So we'll show off the two weapon types we haven't shown yet. So our Mallet's one. So this basically goes to the side and is a very strong move. So basically beats out every attack and comes down like a smash attack. This is a very nice strong move. So it tracks after and then it explodes after. So that's a nice one. But Meccanica, basically she has armor. So she has something like Tough Guy that like Bowser has. So she can withstand weak attacks, but she can't withstand strong attacks. And she also has Tough Guy in the air as well. So I can hover and then I can dash. So I can just wait to descend and then move. So if you ever wanted a character with like a hover mechanic, Meccanica is a character that can do that, which is really neat. And then she can also like indefinitely dash, which I think is really, which was always really cool for her mobility. And like she could dash and attack too, which was really neat. So it's like you could dash, but you couldn't, you could dash and like still be moving when you grab, and then dash and then throw out both arms. So she had like a really cool, unique mobility mechanic to her that was exclusive to her. Because like I think if I move now, yeah, like I can't move when I do this, but like if I dashed and then I did both attacks, then I could move and be throwing out both of my arms, which that was something only she could do. So it's like, yeah, she'd be like a really cool Tron Bone style character. So if you do use her, there's no way you could have any other characters. Like she'd be her own character and that would be it. But like I think gameplay wise, she would add quite a lot to the roster and be a very unique heavy. Twintel, so the thing with her is after she dodges and you charge with her, she's able to stop time. So she would basically like have like an indefinite amount of okay, I actually haven't done parasols on birds yet. She would have like an indefinite amount of witch times. So if you get like this little thing, that's basically what it does. And then she could also do it in the air too. So like if you like air dodge and then you could hold it, then she could be able to do that. Or it would probably be her counter if anything. So they would give her witch time. So when you do the birds, it's basically a chakra arm. So I don't think there's too many issues with that. It just probably would have like kind of like a Galaga loop coming back to her. So that would be kind of neat, at least in terms of a unique projectile. Also the umbrellas, if they did decide to use these, the way that these work is these block arms as they're going in. So they're very unique. Yeah, she does. But yeah, I mean, I would like Twin Tail to get in just like as like a whole representation thing. And that's the other thing too. She actually does another air dash after she does the charge. So if you charge, let it go, and then she can do that, and then she can move forward. So she was actually a really cool character. So like kind of like a unique jump mechanic with that too. But yeah, like she is taller than Ribbon Girl, but not dramatically so. So I do think you could use her as a model swap. And basically, because of like the way arms work in general, like her arms could basically be a part of like the character too. You could still pick up items with that, or you could use her actual arms to pick up items too. So I think she's not a bad character to choose. Bite and Bark. I don't think they would ever put this character in, and if they did, you would hate fighting this character immensely. Basically, you don't control Bark at all, but basically Bark will take hits for you, and he will also randomly just attack, and it is annoying. It is so annoying. The cool thing about Bark, though, is you can jump off of him, and when you jump off of Bark, he deflects projectiles. So like I punch and then Bark, from what I remember, what happens, it's like Bark has like a set timer and then he punches after you. So if I do nothing, Bark's going to eventually punch. Like there. And then if I punch, Bark should punch now. So like that's the way that Bark works. And then that too. So a obnoxious character fight, but he'd be unique at least. Yeah, no, I mean, the way it would work is you would combo, and then Bark would jump after you and punch you. It'd be so annoying. And, like, imagine having, the can wall, except, like, it's there forever. That's what Bark would do. Bark would suck to fight if you were Zoner. Kid Cobra, his gimmick is dumb. Basically, when you charge up your arms, you can move really fast. That's it. Helix would be so weird. But Helix is hilarious. And I'll show you why. He would have like one of the most ridiculous air games out of the entire cast. So when you dodge, like you shrink down. So basically he could just permanently pancake and like move like that. So he had the most annoying crawl in the world. And this is his dash. This is how he would run. He would run like this. You do not want to fight that. And then when he jumps, you can just like stretch yourself off like that. So basically, before you jump, he would do this really weird stretch, and he would do that to like go after you. So that is not something that you want to fight. And then like this is his main arm too. It's like basically imagine if he had normals that were like Yoshi Egg. That's the character. He's so strange. He'd be hilarious, but oh my god, you would not want to fight this. Yeah, so like Helix, that is not a character you want. He would be so funny. He would be the online troll without a doubt. Day one and like for the rest of Smash Ultimate, you were going to see people just troll with that character like crazy. It's something you don't want to see. However, if there are any Helix stands in here, I am there for you, but I do not want to see your character in it. Max Brass. So this is the reason why like that image to me makes no sense. Look how much bigger this guy is compared to Ribbon Girl. Like, he is a Hulk. So, like, him being a palette swap for Springman makes absolutely no sense. The other thing, too, is after you charge up, he bulks up, and basically he can armor attacks, and whenever you dash with him, he can deflect projectiles. So, this is, like... Basically, he's a character that's somewhat normal, but then becomes a super heavyweight with armors that automatically deflect projectiles because he's decided to move. This character's ridiculous. So, yes, I do not want this character to be in. Oh, it'd be annoying. It would not. This would not be a fun character to fight. Now we'll come to the other characters. So, Lollipop, her size is suited to at least be a palette swap for the characters. So, that's one reason why I could see her happening. And keep in mind, these characters were free DLC. So I do think any characters are fair game. Oh yeah, she actually did add her own unique... Actually, there's two things we haven't... There's two. So, this is a shield, so basically when somebody punches that, then it attacks. So deflect and then goes in and attacks. So deflect, attack. So it's a pretty unique weapon. And then like I think that one has like some extra things. And then you also have like these nunchuck weapons too, which they're kind of fun. But Lollipop's thing is kind of unique. So basically she has a shield. She could jump and shield in the air. So dash and then you hold it and then she brings up a shield. So basically if they put Lollipop in as her own unique character, she'd be able to air shield. And like immediately come down with a fast fall while shielding. So that would be a really unique mechanic, and this would be the hardest character to anti-air. But it'd be unique. And she is pretty fast too. So like shield. Yeah, she's actually able to move forward while she's in shield too, which no other character can really do this. So like she would be annoying. Like imagine somebody holding shield and walking forward at the same time. That'd be annoying. This is not a fun character to fight. And then she can also bounce around a little bit from the air shield too. So if she air shields, she would kind of have the bouncing effect of Link's down air. And when she's normal shielding, she'd be able to move up forward. That would what her mechanics would be. So let's kill Ribbon Girl real fast. So then that way, I think this is enough to kill her. There we go. And then I'll show you the final one. So the final one is kind of like the other Tri-Blast that you saw. Except it's got like a little bit more of a unique layout to them. So it's like instead of it being horizontal, it's vertical. So I could see a weapon like this being used. And basically with this one, it makes people blind. And that's really what it does. So yeah, would be a really unique character. However, everybody would hate fighting this character. Missingo, basically this character has Monado arts. And I forget how it works exactly. It's like basically he can put on 3 different masks. And depending on what mask it is, determines what type of buffs he gets. And what debuffs he gets. Been a while since I've used him. Oh yeah, so this one's kind of unique because like this is like something that you place on the ground. And then it's like the way that I remember this working is like you kind of need to watch out. Yeah, so it's like you charge, you get it back on. And I think the only way that it changes is by what type of punches you use. But I don't remember what the buffs are themselves. And then you charge again to get rid of it. And that's the last mask. Yeah. Right now we're just talking about like all the different like possibilities that we could have with the characters, like if they decide to use them. So we're gonna just choose the last one. I think actually we got 2. We got Springtron and we got Quail. Springtron is basically Springman, except like he's stronger from what I remember. Quail is a very unique character. She gets 3 arms, and then she also has like a permanent float. And the float can be really annoying. And she goes invisible too. So let me just see. Yeah, so Springtron has the same abilities as what's his face, as Springman. But it's just like there's something different about his power, I believe, than Coil. So Coil with her, when she gets up from like getting hit, she goes invisible, so it's hard to tell which way that she's going. But where are... I'll just do these. So when I charge up, I get 3 arms. And that's how that works. But it's just you need to make sure you get full charge. There we go. And I think it's only on the right side. So yeah, so basically when I do the full charge, you just need to see what side of the arm it's going on, and then you get to use the double there. And like you see, like she doesn't jump, she floats, and then she's able to move the entire time that she's in the air too. Like I'm able to move and I'm still able to punch. So basically it's like her mobility is like unmatched in that respect. She's not fast, but like it definitely is annoying. Yeah, no, like that's what I thought. But yeah, so it's like I don't think this character's gonna be playable. If she was though, that would be kind of cool because she would be so different from every other character in Smash. But like realistically, this is not the character that I see being playable. So at least that's my thoughts on what they can do with the characters themselves. But this is what I think is gonna happen. I personally think we are going to get 4 characters represented in one. I think Springman's going to be one of them. I think you're going to get Ribbon Girl. I think you're going to get Min Min. My last guess is going to be Twintail. I think all 4 of them are going to be in one. And if it's not Twintail, it'll be Ninj Ara. But I really hope it's going to be Springman, Ribbon Girl, Min Min, and Twintail. So like that way you finally get like female characters in there. And then you get the staple reps. That kind of makes sense to have there. And then the other thing too is the way you don't have their exclusive ability. So everybody has the same ability and everything. It's just like the bone structure just kind of have a universal bone structure between them. And basically you're going to have like a lot of normals with just like punching and all that stuff. So I don't think anything too exciting there. Decent range, kind of like what you saw with the assist trophy of him. That's the thing. That's what I wonder. So there's 2 ways that I see them doing the ARMS characters. When you pick the character itself, you get to choose the specials like the Mii fighters. So you basically choose like what you use up B, side B, and down B for, or neutral B. Or the neutral specials will switch based on you pressing down B, and then that changes the rest of your special moves off of that. So I think you're going to have the regular toasters, which are like the standard gloves. So I think every character is going to have these. I think I have all the arms with. Okay, yeah. So I think everyone's gonna have like standard toasters. Then I think if Min Min's a character, I think they're gonna give them the Dragon Shot too. And then lastly, I think we'll get one of the Tri-Blasts. And I think that's gonna be a pretty good balance. Especially because like those characters are the midweight ones. I would love for them to put one of the Megatons in there. Because in that way, they would have like a really hard-hitting move that would be really hard to deal with. But I don't think they're going to do that. Yeah. So the Mii Fighter route, I think you could do a lot of cool things with that. But like I think also just being able to press down B on the fly and do that, that would be a lot of fun too. So definitely what character you have will change your specials. But I also think they are going to have the arm charge gimmick. So when you jump and you land on the ground, I think it'll be stronger for them. If they hold shield for like, like that quick, like 43 quarters of a second, then I think their arms are going to be charged. So their specials and like their normal attacks will be stronger too. I think that is going to be something happen. I do think that they are going to have a tether grab, and it's going to have I think it's going to be just as laggy as ZSS. Like, I think it's going to go, and then it's just going to go down. But I think they are going to have the gimmick of when they throw out the grab, I think they can hold up and down to angle the grab up or down to catch characters. So I think you could 2-frame characters with their grab. I think that's going to be a thing that they're going to be able to do. What else? Yeah, and then, like, as long as they're building it off of Springman, I think if they dash, like the second they do their initial dash, I think they'll be able to deflect projectiles if they base it off of Springman. Which, that would be an interesting mechanic. So, like, imagine, like, Third Strike parries, except it's used exclusively to, like, parry, like, projectiles. If they do that, or maybe if they also do, like, attacks too, where it's like you dash forward you just do, like, a dash forward to, like, just deflect something. Because the thing is, like, these characters are not fast. They're all very slow, like, outside of Kid Cobra. Kid Cobra is, like, the only fast one. And Ninj Ara. Ninj Ara was fast, too. So it's like, if you do that, like, they at least have a really nice, like, solid way to play defense. And it's like, they don't need to close in, but, like, they're also not incentivized to go in as well to, like, keep them slow and all that. And, like, he can only do the parry, like, on the ground. I think that'd be kind of unique. So it's like you punch, they jump in, and then like you dash at the right time to like deflect like their aerial if they were too far away, and then it's like you get your punish like that. And I think it'd be interesting because like that'd be like a pretty highly technical character that would have like a lot of like kind of unique options with that. Also, that's the thing too. Like if they do like attacks, are you going to be able to track your opponent with that too? I don't think they're going to do that, but like I can see them doing that with grab specifically. The other thing too that we should talk about is we should talk about the absolute wonderful stages that they have. So as you guys can hear already, the music kind of slaps for this game. The stage that I desperately want them to use is this. This is one of the coolest gimmicks I've ever seen for a stage. So this is Ribbon Girl stage, and this is the way that this one works. So basically, you're just playing, and then randomly throughout it, you're going to see like blocks start to come out from the ground. Which I hope they should come out. It'd be weird if they don't. There we go. So then you have these come out of the ground, so then you can use them to your advantage, but you can also punch them as well. So it's like these will come up during the middle of your match, and then you're going to be able to just like do things like that. So in a competitive setting, you'd create a lot of walls of life, but like in like a fun casual setting, oh man, this thing's going to be great. Like I would play on this stage a lot as long as they designed it correctly. This is the stage that needs to happen. And also just look at the backgrounds too. The background's great. So like doing an FD or a Battlefield version of this would be really cool. It's just the unfortunate thing with the ARM stages is I don't see them having any way to make this into a regular legal stage. However, this is what I would want them to do. I'd want them to have this stage and incorporate the KOF. I'd want them to incorporate like the KOF like wall boundary thing. So that way it's like, while there are no ring outs in this game, I think it'd just be kind of an appropriate way to like set up the battle for that. Because I think it's so much better than having walk-offs. Let's see what else. This one just sucks. It's basically a staircase that you climb up, so I don't like this one. The mausoleum is actually a pretty fun one. Basically, in the center of this stage, I need to play Master Mummy because it's the easiest way to do this. In the center of this stage, they have like a giant circle that you break open. And when you break open that circle, then there's a giant trampoline there. So like this stage, I don't think is like casually great, not gonna be competitive. Like I don't see them making a competitive stage from this game, unfortunately. Okay, I think I can break it open now. Oh, take it. He's just going at like this awkward angle. Please let me just break the circle. Okay. Okay, I think we can do it here. There we go. Okay. So then you just get like this giant thing to bounce off of. And then you can just like dash. Oh yeah, actually, okay, so everyone technically does have a double jump because you have the dash. Okay, and yeah, that's that stage. So that's just like a fun casual thing. But like I still think like Ribbon Girl Arena is so much better for that. If they pick Min Min, her stage would be kind of interesting. It would not be competitive, but basically you're inside a giant ramen bowl. So for background wise, this would be a very nice looking stage to have. But like as you can see, like this would just be weird because basically your entire thing is just one giant slant, and I don't think anybody wants that. Like the closest thing that we have to that is like Yoshi's Island Melee, and we know how much of a disaster that is, like in terms of like being competitive. So this is not a stage you'd want. I'm gonna play my girl. Scrapyard. Basically, this is kind of like a parkour. This is like a skating rink, and with like some pillars in there. It's not a good stage. and I wouldn't want to see it. Deluxe Cinema, basically there's some cars there, and it's just like a regular thing with obstacles. So like arms-wise, this is a fun stage, but like Smash-wise, not great. This one's a very generic beach stage, and it just like has slopes and a higher up area. So imagine like Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Story Melee, except with like platforms on the side. That'd basically be it. This one would be a hilarious one to do. So 100%, never a competitive stage, but as a casual stage, this is a stage with Beyblades. So this is what you do. So you jump on, and then you just dash around, and then you just keep moving around while you're on your Beyblade. And that's it. This is the stage, and like you can have like all your blades like clash against each other too. Like this stage is really fun. But like, oh god, like playing competitive arms on this stage sucked. So this stage was never like competitive. But it was sure hilarious. So Ribbon Girl Stadium or this one for casuals, definitely you want those. DNA Lab, basically there's just like setting wise. No, like these stages are great to play on. Like for the game itself, these were really well thought out and designed. They have really good competitive stages, and they have really, really nice like casual stages. So like Snake Park and Ribbon Arena were really good. This was a good competitive stage. Basically, very, very generic layout, but like then they had like all these pipes there that you could break. And it's like you need to do a lot of damage to break them. So it's like if you were planning to break it, you needed to specifically play that and then just like avoid them. Sky Arena, this is another one that I could see them doing. Basically with this one, you have a boxing ring in the middle, and then there's like an outside platform. So think about this like an actual wrestling arena. And it's like I could realistically see them putting this stage in there. So it's like you grab them, you can toss them off. And then it's like you kind of have the high ground, but there's like no ropes. So like you can just kind of go off arena like this. So there's definitely a way I can see them making this a regular Smash stage, but because of the way this works, I don't think you'd ever see this be a competitive stage. They might be able to do it, but like I don't think anybody would want to play that. Okay. This stage, definitely not. Like, if they were just doing this as a backdrop, this is a nice stage to do. But basically, it's just like a weird S shape, and it's just weird. Never really a good stage to play on. Temple Grounds basically follows the same idea as the Helix Lab, except there's one difference that made this one a pretty good stage to play on. Basically, you have the pillars to walk around. But you also had like this element of like ascending too, which that did make a big difference. So let's say I jump here, I'm more eye level compared to like the opponent there. So to me, like this just wouldn't be as good as a position as being up in the high ground for jumping. But like I can make it really hard for them to like try and hit me getting behind these pillars. So these pillars you could break, and right now I'm using weak arms, and it took me like 3 times to break it. So that's the way that one worked. And I think that's the last stage, though. Because I don't think Coil ever got around. Because I think Coil stage was considered... Oh, she actually did get around. And then, of course, you have the regular sparring one, which I don't think they'll do the training room. And then you got this. So I never played this stage much, because like I stopped playing when Coil came out. And I think if you hit... Okay, so like these are just moving obstacles then. This is interesting though. So Coil could just basically ignore this just because she was floating all the time, so she didn't have to deal with this at all. And of course, like, that boosts you in one direction but slows you down in the other. So I could see them making a fun stage out of this. And honestly, competitively, this must have been pretty interesting too, but I never got to play it. So... yeah, no, I think that was the last stage. Oh yeah, I didn't technically talk about Spring Stadium. So Spring Stadium is actually a really good default stage. And it's actually great for casuals as well. So like when you're on the stage, basically you can jump, and then there's also these springboards too. And if you time it correctly, then you get an extra high jump. And then you can also just do that dash. So basically, there's a lot of fun shenanigans you can do. So, like, you know, hit them. So grab them. And then you just try to combo off of that as well. So there's like a lot of really cool things that you could do exclusively on the stage because you could combo them off those springs as well. So I love playing here. And if they were able to introduce like the spring barriers well, this would be a great stage to play on. But yeah, no, I mean, as we've gone through all the various stages and all that, you've been able to hear a lot of the good music. So regardless of what character we get, you're going to get really good music. So this is going to be a really good FD or Battlefield stage to play on just based on that alone. And a lot of the backgrounds are really interesting too. So just for that, that's going to be nice. Never could complain about getting more music. The characters themselves are also pretty unique looking too. Like, you know, I'll definitely say Ribbon Girl, Springman are the most generic looking, but like, if we get any of the other ones, they're all pretty neat designs for the most part. Except Springtron. Springtron sucks. You know, if they decide to be true to their unique mechanics, there's a lot of really interesting things that we could have from that. I do hope they bring the arm selection into it and it's just not locked to each special because like being able to change like before you go into battle or change right there with like the down special or something like that, I think that would be great. So that's definitely something that I want to see. If I could choose any character, I would love for them to do Meccanica, but you know, I do think it's to be Springman, Ribbon Girl, Min Min, and Twin Twirl. I do think that's going to be our lineup. Or actually, we could do Springman, Ribbon Girl, Ninj Ara, Min Min. I think it's going to be like, I think it's going to be either or. And if we get Max Brass, he's just by himself at that point. There's no other character you're swapping him with. So yeah, no, that's basically everything I wanted to go over here. I did record both of these, so I'm going to be uploading them. Wait, today is Saturday, right? So I'm gonna upload these, and they're gonna go up tomorrow. So then that way you guys can watch this right before the actual stream itself happens. So I'll have the patch things, roasting that 1K roll thing, and then talk a little bit about Duck Hunt on there too. And then I'll also have my discussion on the ARMS character as well. So I really do hope like you guys are looking forward to this. Like, this is a game that deserves a sequel, and all signs are putting that it's going to do it. It actually did sell pretty well. Like, I sold 2 million copies, and like a little bit over that. And it's a very fun game to play, and it has really good online. You'll be surprised how well online games work here. So like, if you're just trying to play competitive, like, fighting games and all that stuff, like, this is a really good one to check out. I do highly recommend it. I don't think they ever reduce the price, which is like kind of like the one thing that sucks. But like, you know, if you're able to get this for like $20, I definitely recommend that. If you can't, then okay, definitely it's not worth $60. I'll be the first one to tell you. But you know, if they do announce like ARMS 2 pretty soon, I'll just wait for that, because like this game doesn't have much content, and that was like the one issue it had. So you have Grand P, which is arcade mode. You got Versus, Party, and then Ranked, which are 2 online modes, and then Friends and Local. And that's it. So there's a lot of things to unlock, which can keep you going, but like it gets stale. And then you have to unlock all the arms for every character. So like, as you can see, I still have to do this. And you have to like play like a mini game in order to get them, which, you know, that's not fun. But yeah, no, it's just like there's a lot of unique variety here that could really spice things up for Smash if they implement it correctly. They could also just make it like more of a long-range fighter that might end up feeling like a cross between the Belmonts and Little Mac, which honestly, even by that nature, that's still very interesting, just in terms of like how you want these characters to play. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to this character, to what they bring with this, all the unique mechanics, definitely the music and stage. You know, I'm not going to be salted just based on that alone. And, you know, I do hope this series does get the representation it deserves. Because like it really was like one of the big first party things to come out for the Switch. It did well. Like, I think that's the one thing people forget. This game actually did well. It's just that it didn't really have like the same staying power of like Splatoon or something like that. Because like, unlike the Wii U, like Splatoon was a good game, but there weren't too many other good games to play on there. And that was the issue the Wii U had, where the Switch had a lot of really good games. Like, you know, it debuted with Breath of the Wild, debuted with like Mario Odyssey coming out soon. Well, Mario Kart 8 was a Wii U game. Like, that was still the first time a lot of people played it. And then this was also in the mix too. And people were playing it. It's just that a lot of games came out. They handled the indie scene really well too. So we had a lot of games coming from that too. So it's just like there were a lot of things to play, and like this game kind of got in like sort of forgotten, but it's not that it didn't do well. It's just that like just so many things have come out on the Switch, even if they're ports. It's just like a lot of good things have come out on the system that kind of make people forget like this. This is actually one of the things that brought people to the Switch when it first came out. So with all of that said, I think that is going to conclude the stream for now. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed everything that we went over. Hope you learned a little bit about ARMS. I hope you guys give it a chance. Because like I do know that they did offer a demo. I don't know if it's still free to try or anything like that. You know, I would recommend to check out this game before it releases on Switch. As always, you know, if you want to support me, you can always sub. You can use Twitch Prime to do it. You will get a lot of fabulous emotes for it as well. Yeah, it was also on the Wii U, but like, you know, who owned a Wii U? As always, you can support by subscribing to me, but you can also support some wonderful artists by buying the coasting art as well. I did find out they did add a lot of they added a lot of new phone cases. So if you are trying to get something that is not an iPhone, I can add those in there, and they did add a lot more designs to it. So let me know if you're looking for that. I'll gladly add those in there. If you get the other shorts, those will all support me. Also have this other one by Kinky Ray too. You also got Carried by Dinner as well. Help everybody get through the whole COVID thing. And as if you guys seen, if you guys have like been through my YouTube channel, I am uploading a lot more consistently now on there. So pretty much like the way that it's going to work is like I basically am going to be uploading like every 3 days. Well, like every other day. So it's like 3 days a week. But today is going to be kind of, this week's a little bit unique with ARMS coming out. Monday, I am not planning on doing a critique stream. I am going to be live streaming my reaction to everything going on with ARMS. Because like there's a good chance that the patch might drop that day, and if it does, I'm going to be streaming that. So it's like I don't want to overstream that day. So I'll probably reschedule the critique stream to a different day. Wouldn't be surprised if it's something like Wednesday or something like that. I'll just have to see how everything plays out. But you guys will definitely know for sure. I'll post it on Discord. I'll post it on Twitter. Post it here on YouTube as well, so that way you guys can see that. And, you know, for you guys that are trying to learn and get better with the character, definitely use the critiques to your advantage. I do post the character that they're fighting against in the side of the thumbnail. So if you're ever like, oh, what's Duck Hunt Rosalina like or something like that, you know, you can instantly go to like this thumbnail right here with joystick. Like, okay, so this is Duck Hunt versus Rosalina. So you can figure that out. And I also put versus character in that. So if you go into there and you type in like Rosalina, this is like the only one that has it. So it will come up. So if you want to find specific matchup things, that's going to be the best way to do it. I don't want to do a matchup analysis stream until the next patch drops, because depending on what changes happens to the characters, that could greatly affect the way that they function. So I'm kind of holding off on like hard concrete analysis like that until that happens. The other thing too is I do have a lot of matches I have not made public yet. So every Friday you're going to get like a new non-uploaded match. So it's like a privated match. So I think those are all King K. Rool ones though. So unfortunately no Duck Hunt on those, but you will be getting more content on that. So yeah, that's kind of the update on all things going on with my channel and all things to support me with that. I am working on an in-depth guide in-depth beginner guide for King K. Rool. So that's what I've been working on, but that probably will not be ready for like a month or something. That one's a huge undertaking to do. But I am going to be working on more Duck Hunt guides. But I have to like figure out things I want to talk about, because I feel like I've covered most of my bases at this point. I probably will have to do like an updated beginner's guide for Duck Hunt eventually. But like I feel like I've covered pretty much everything you need to know about the character. It's just I'll have to talk about more stage specific things as time goes on, and then if more unique setups come up, I'll definitely talk about those. And if there are like more matchup specific things, I'm definitely going to be doing things like that, because I think I've covered the basics of Duck Hunt. It's just now you need to know how to fight him against certain characters, and once I kind of label those out, I think most of Duck Hunt's things will be completed at that point. But we'll see. The other thing too is I am playing a lot of other fighting games. So like I've been learning Killer Instinct, I've been learning Skullgirls, I've been learning Tekken 7 as well. So I'll probably start posting things for those as well. And then, as I've mentioned before in the past a lot of times, I do want to do more theme park things as well. So those will eventually get talked about at some point. I'll figure it out when. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for staying with me until the very end. Hope you do check out the shop. You support there. Hope you sub to me. Support me there as well. And, stay safe. Keep supporting your neighbors and all that. And until the next one, I'll catch you guys on Monday because that's when the stream's going to be. So take care of yourselves until then.